What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the stream. Hope everyone had a awesome Christmas. Happy holidays. Appreciate you guys stopping by. We're one day away from this Packers versus Ravens game on Saturday. The 9-5-1 Green Bay Packers take on the 7-8 Baltimore Ravens. And we got an early Christmas present yesterday. Somehow, this was crazy. I'm sure you guys watched it, but somehow the Vikings beat the Lions. And if you didn't know already, you're living under a rock. That basically means that the Green Bay Packers have clinched a playoff spot. So let's get some Go Pack Goes in the chat. I already see them, as there should be, right? We have 2 games left in the season, and even though all the injuries that the Packers team has endured, they still clinched a playoff spot with 2 games left. That much is impressive. All you have to do is get to the dance. That's all you have to do and get hot at the right time. Hopefully we can get a little bit healthy. Now, I see a lot of people asking, I've seen it in the comments, I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen a lot of people asking, do the Packers rest their players? They're really banged up. Love has a concussion. Jacobs hasn't been able to get healthy. You know, Evan Williams, Zach Tom, all these guys, right? You can't until you're mathematically not able to win the North. You shouldn't have the opportunity to win the North and rest players. Now, if the Packers played after the Bears and the Bears beat the Niners, then I'd say yes, get your guys healthy. But the Packers play Saturday and the Bears play Sunday night. So at least this week, you go full tilt to beat the Ravens. You need a win. Treat it as such. Treat it as you need a win. Because you could still win the North with the Bears' schedule. You know, they could lose to the 49ers Sunday Night Football in San Fran. We could all see that happening. Now, the big question would be, what would happen versus the Lions in Week 18? The Lions had nothing to play for when Aaron Rodgers played his last game as a Packer and the Lions beat us. So we can't sit here and say, oh, the Lions are... I mean, they were terrible last night. They were. But we can't sit here and say, oh, they're not going to put up a fight against the Bears because they're eliminated. That's not the case at all. Dan Campbell does not coach like that. Plain and simple, he does not. So it's in Chicago, Week 18 versus the Lions, but because the Bears play Sunday night, we have to play this game like you need to win, in my opinion. You can't rest starters just yet. Again, if the Packers, whatever happens in this game, say we lose or say we win and then the Bears go and win, then yes, sure, Week 18 against the Vikings, if you want to rest starters, treat it as a bye week before the playoffs to get healthy, that's completely fine. You kind of just... yeah, okay, we're the 7th seed. We'll see who the 2 seed ends up being, and we'll see you next week. That's what you could do. But right now, all the talk of resting players, like, I'm okay, and I saw a comment about it. I think I can let me see if I can pin it real quick. I saw a couple comments, like, I would not start Jacobs. That's the one that I'm okay with. I think, you know, obviously if Jordan Love can play, you play him. If Evan Williams can play, you play him. If Zach Tom can play, you play him. But Jacobs, that is the one where I'm like, hey, I think we could do just fine with Emmanuel Wilson against the Ravens. You know, they're 13th against the run, so they're not a terrible run defense, but I think we could do just fine with Emmanuel Wilson. He's running hot right now. He is the hot hand. And the worst thing you'd want to see is we put Jacobs out there, and he re-injures his knee, and we don't get a healthy Jacobs throughout the entirety of, you know, either Week 18 or the first week of playoffs. So I could see that. I could see us saying, hey, maybe you don't like fully rest Jacobs, but Emmanuel Wilson, you're going to get the majority of snaps Saturday. That's what I could see. But welcome everyone to the live stream. We do a game preview every single week for the upcoming game. We usually do these on Friday, just like today. Even though it's a Saturday game, last week when it was a Saturday game, I did it on Thursday. Obviously, I wasn't going to do a game preview on Christmas Day. We'd have like 2 people in here. Maybe we'd have more, but I'm sure we're all busy with family stuff. So that's why I just waited till today to do it, the day after Christmas. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas, wonderful holiday season so far. New Year's right around the corner. Appreciate you guys stopping in. So if you're stopping in for the first time, or if you have to click subscribe, like I said, we do game previews here every week. News, analysis, updates, everything in between for your Green Bay Packers you'll find here on this channel. So I'd highly suggest going down and hitting the subscribe button if you haven't already. It's completely free to do, and it helps support the channel a ton. So let's actually bring the screen up for you guys. Let's start diving into this thing. First, you know, just love to see it. Clinched. I love that. I love that Danny Whelan's on that. I love it, right? You got X, LaFleur, Love, Ewell, Coop, Watson, Jacobs, and Danny Whelan. Danny Whelan deserves to be on there. I like that. I like that graphic. Cindy says, let me get this comment up here. My mouse is freaking out. Bass, are you excited for Colin Oliver? Yes. So I'm excited for Colin Oliver. Do I think he's going to get any snaps? Probably not. It's so late in the year. He's barely practiced with the team. Am I excited as an overall, like going into 2026 for Colin Oliver? Hell yeah. You know, this guy, if you guys watched my tape breakdown on him earlier in, I think, April or May, you could see why he shows kind of similar skill set to a Micah Parsons. You could see why, or an Edgerrin Cooper. You could see why. Not trying to say he is Micah Parsons. I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's baby Micah. Like, let's let him play some NFL football first before we start doing anything like that. But he does have the similar skill set, a shorter, faster, lighter, shorter arm, off-ball linebacker that can rush the passer. I mean, that was kind of Micah. I mean, he's just an extreme to that. But, yeah, I'm excited for Colin Oliver. I don't think we'll see any meaningful snaps. I think Sorrell, Cox will all get more snaps than him. So he could be an active game day, honestly. He might not even be active for this season at all. So just, temper your expectations for Colin Oliver. Injury report, quickly. I'm going to make a video right after this because I haven't made an injury report video all week. Again, with all the holidays, it's been really busy. But I'm going to make one right after this. So we'll just quickly go over the designations. Jordan Love is questionable, has yet to clear concussion protocol. He has till today to do so. So we should, unless LaFleur wants to keep the cards close to his vest, we should hear if Love clears protocol today. But we'll say he's limited all week. That's a good sign that he started limited on Tuesday. I think he does clear and he does play. Bo Melton with an illness. There is an illness going around the Packers right now. You could see Bo Melton with an illness, Sean Ryan, Christian Watson, and Malik Willis. Now, Malik Willis is also questionable with his shoulder, right shoulder, and illness that did not participate on Wednesday was due to the illness. But he said if Love can't go, or regardless, he's going to play. Like Willis is going to be available and he's ready to go. So no matter what, we're going to at least have Malik Willis, which I'm confident in the Packers winning this game with Willis. Going back up, Bo Melton is questionable with that illness. Hasn't practiced all week. We'll see if he's able to play. Sean Ryan didn't practice Thursday with an illness, questionable. I heard there's like a flu going around that's really, really bad. So I would assume that has to do with it, or that's it. We see Zach Tom back/knee injury, didn't practice all week, questionable. I don't see him going in this game again. Christian Watson, illness, didn't practice Thursday, questionable. Christian Welch, ankle injury, didn't practice all week, he's out. Evan Williams got limited all week and knee injury. That's great. Limited all week is awesome. I could see Evan Williams suiting up in this game. John Williams, limited all week, back, out. And Malik Willis, we already talked about, questionable. For the Ravens, we have Taven Bryan at defensive tackle. Knee injury, limited Thursday. Quickly ruled out. That was a new addition. I don't know if he got hurt Thursday or whatnot. We have Kyle Hamilton was a full participant. He's ready to go. Chidobe Awuzie, foot injury, full on Thursday, ready to go. I don't know what unspecified is for Jay Higgins. I have no idea. But big one here, Lamar Jackson is doubtful. Back injury, we saw that, or at least I saw it happen last week, where he could barely move, barely walk, man. So I would fully think that Lamar's not playing in this game. So it's going to be Tyler Huntley at quarterback. Honestly, like I feel like a Tyler Huntley versus Malik Willis game would actually be kind of fire. Like I feel like that would be kind of electric. But if Love clears protocol, you get him back into the game, because what if, for example, you don't play Love even though he cleared protocol, and then you win the game, but the Bears win as well. Then do you sit Love for 2 weeks in a row? Do you sit him week 18 as well? And then he comes into the first round of playoffs, hasn't played in 2.5 games? No, you can't do that. If Love clears, you play him. Plain and simple. The Packers can still win the division. So you don't rest Love. The only time Love doesn't play is if he doesn't clear protocol and he literally can't play. That's it, in my opinion. All right, so let's dive into this thing on PFF. Again, we use the PFF dashboard to kind of go over the team. It's great UI. It's visually appealing. You can look at all the PFF stuff and the lineups. That's why we use it. But again, the PFF grades aren't the end all be all, so take them with a grain of salt. They don't mean everything. So just to give that little bit of a disclaimer there. But the Green Bay Packers 9-5-1. Still weird to just continue to have to say that tie there, but who knows? I mean, they already clinched playoffs, and it's pretty plain and simple that how we win the North or don't. You win out and the Bears lose out. That's really it. Ravens 7-8. I think they're eliminated with a loss. I think even with a win, they're still at like only 21% chance. So their season's all but done. If we look at the spread, the Packers are favored by 4.5 points. I am shocked this isn't more. I'm sure this is just because Love isn't cleared to play yet. If he is, this should raise up to at least 6.5 or even 7 points. We'll see. The percentage of the money on the spread is on the Green Bay Packers at 70%, 58% of the bets. Now, money line, 75% of the money's on the Packers, 74% of the bets are on the Packers. So a lot of bettors are saying, hey, Packers are going to go out here and handle business. Coach Len says something's going on with the Ravens team. Head coach could be out the door. Dude, I've noticed it. This team looks very, very under-disciplined. It just doesn't look like a Harbaugh-led team, and maybe that's saying something about him just being there too long. It's kind of ran its course, like the Andy Reid, like the Mike McCarthy. I agree. I think Harbaugh could be done after this year. I would honestly like to see a change of scenery for Baltimore. It's been the same thing far too long. Same with Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh can make the playoffs yet again and whatever, but I just feel like when a coach is there for so damn long, it runs its course. It gets kind of stale. It gets old, and that's seemingly what has happened with the Ravens. You say Lamar Jackson is a problem also. Well, I'm not going to put so much on Lamar until he's fully healthy. He's dealt with so many injuries. Remember Love dealing with so many injuries last year, and everyone's like, oh, this offense is trash or whatnot. Just let him get healthy and good things will happen. I think Lamar's still a fine quarterback, just hasn't been healthy. Speaking of quarterbacks, actually, let's go over team metrics first. In terms of PFF grades, the Packers are the 3rd overall team. The Ravens are the 21st. Defense, the Ravens are 16th. The Packers are 14th. This defense on the Baltimore side is super under discipline, man. Like you watch it and you're like, what is going on out there? Like it just doesn't seem like it's not put together well. Offense, the Packers are the 3rd graded PFF offense. The Ravens are the 17th. If we look at percentage of run plays, the Ravens actually run the ball more than the Green Bay Packers. So it's going to be, again, important to stop the run, stop Derrick Henry, stop Tyler Huntley from running the ball, right? They run the ball 45.1%. I would assume that's one of, if not the highest in the league. The Packers are always pretty high at 43.1%. And the respective pass numbers, Ravens at 54.9%, Packers at 56.9%. EPA per run, Ravens dead even, Packers minus 0.04. EPA per pass, we can see where that, again, the Packers really, are top of the league almost, I'm pretty sure, in EPA per pass. 0.22, where the Ravens are at negative 0.05. So they really haven't found success in either, or great success, but they are better at running the football than they are at passing the football, and that will remain the same this week with Tyler Huntley most likely at quarterback. They're going to want to run the ball with Derrick Henry. If you shut down Derrick Henry, you easily beat the Ravens. Like that's just what it is. So quarterback comparison, Huntley isn't terrible. He's a Pro Bowl quarterback when he threw 3 touchdowns that year. He got voted in the Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl's a joke, guys. Let's just be real about it. Pro Bowl's an absolute joke. The fact that it's included in contract language for 5th-year options and incentives is actually insane because it's a popularity contest. All pros should be included for contract language and incentives, which I think they can be for incentives, but they're not for the 5th-year options. Why? I don't know. But Pro Bowl's so outdated. The fact that Tyler Huntley does have a Pro Bowl is pretty crazy. 73.5 grade, Love at 88.5. Pressure rating when clean, Huntley 104.0. Love 128.8. Huntley pressure rating when under pressure, pretty solid. I don't know how many snaps he's really played, so these could just be small sample size. 83.5 pressure or pass rating when under pressure, and Love 46.8 when under pressure. Big time throw percentage. This is where it's very, very low. Again, probably just not passing the ball too much deep, right? 1.64% for Huntley. Same turnover worthy play percentage, 1.64. For Love, you can see this massive big time throw percentage. This offense loves explosive plays. They're top of the league at them in passing. 5.18% turnover worthy play percentage. Love kind of, having more turnover-worthy plays the past few weeks. Got to clean that up for sure. He was on a stretch where it's like, damn, he's not turning over the ball at all. We got to get back to that. 2.69%. Still not terrible, but it's got to drop down tiny bit. We look at the Ravens. They had a stretch where they started to win some games, and they're looking like, okay, after a terrible start, they won 5 straight, and you're like, okay, here they come. This is what we expect from the Ravens. They're going to come back. They're going to be a playoff team. Then they drop to the Bengals and the Steelers, and you're like, okay, never mind. Then they beat the Bengals. You're like, maybe. Then they lose to the Patriots. Like, all right, we're done. So Ravens, very weird team this year. We know the Packers, dropped 2 straight. I don't see them losing 3 straight. How many times has Matt LaFleur lost 3 straight games as a Packers coach? I don't know. Has it happened? Probably. But if it happened, it's maybe once or twice, if that. So I don't think he loses 3 straight games, especially against a backup quarterback in Baltimore, even if we have our backup quarterback in Malik Willis. All right. So we went over the injury report. We went over all the records, the quarterback comparison, team metrics. So now we need to go over lineups quickly. Before we do so, let's go over my sleeper picks for this game. Guys, if you want to check out Sleeper and make your picks for this game or any of the games, I know the Texans also play earlier on Saturday or any of the games on Sunday, click the link down in the description below. You can get your deposit matched 100% up to $100 using code BASS. You can see it on the screen, BAS. Also, new users get a free $20 play, no deposit needed. So if you want to go quickly make your picks for the game and set it and forget it, you could do that too. Just click the link down in the description below. Remember to always gamble responsibly, never outside of your means, and always only for fun. That's what we do here on this channel. And here are my picks. First, we have a free pick. CJ Stroud, more than a half a passing yard. A lot of primetime games. Sleeper offers free picks that you can add into your slip, and it's just a gimme essentially, right? I have Brandon McManus, more than 1.5 field goal makes. We haven't been the best in the red zone, and I expect that to be better this game, but 2 field goals for McManus, I could totally see that happening. I have Christian Watson with an anytime touchdown. He's due. Last week was kind of a down week returning from that injury, but he's our guy. He's our number 1 receiver. He's the guy you go to deep. He's the guy you go to near the red zone, mostly. Him and Dobbs, right? It's going to be Watson this week. I think I could see a really big game for him, but I'm also very biased because I had to start him on my fantasy team in the championship, so I'm going for it full tilt. Then finally, I have Emmanuel Wilson, more than 30.5 rushing yards. Again, like I said, you shouldn't rest your players, but if the Packers are going to rest someone or diminish their snap share, it's going to be Josh Jacobs, and Emmanuel Wilson's the hot hand. I think 30.5 is a very, very low line for Emmanuel Wilson, considering all the factors. Considering the Packers, clinched a playoff spot, considering Josh Jacobs has yet to be able to get healthy, I doubt they're going to go say, hey, Jacobs, we're going to hand you the ball 22 times, and Emmanuel Wilson, you get 2 carries. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, so I have Emmanuel Wilson, more than 30.5 rushing yards. That's a $10 play to win a potential 124.70. Hopefully, we can hit it. If you copy my pick slip and screenshot it and send it to the email I'll put in the description below, you can get entered to win a $100 free play for Sleeper as well. So let me know what you guys are picking. You can fade, you can tail. But yeah, if you want to go check out Sleeper and make your picks for this game or any other game or all of them together, you can do that on Sleeper. So big shout out to them. All right, let's dive down into the previews, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm starting Watson for my championship game. Yeah, I had DK, so you know how that goes. It's a 2-week championship that I'm running because it's a 10-man league and it was only 4 people in the playoffs. Weirdly, it's a weirdly ran league, but it's a 2-week and I'm in week 2. Can I still start Jacobs in fantasy? It depends. What are your other options? If you don't have any other great options, you kind of have to, but let me know your other options. Watson over Michael Wilson for championship game. Oof, that's hard. That's hard, man. But yeah, I had DK. Obviously, I had to cut him. But I'm down from week 1, and he has 2 players, kicker and defense, that already played, and he's up by, I think, 40 points because he had Puka last week. But I've had no one play this week yet, so I'll be all right. I'll be all right, hopefully. Watson starting for me. Yeah, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get a 2-touchdown Watson game. I'm just saying. Jacobs or Tony Pollard. Oh God, that's even dude. I don't. The thing is with Jacobs, it's like you could get a random touchdown or 2 on the goal line. Man, I mean, the more consistent option the last 2 weeks is Pollard, but that's hard. That's a toss-up for me, honestly. That's a toss-up because Pollard, what has he done the last couple of weeks? I mean, let me look at it real quick. 18.2 and then 10.2. So he's going to get the volume. The last 3 weeks, he's had 14-plus carries, 2 of which he had 20-plus carries. I think he's going to get more volume than Jacobs. He's playing New Orleans. I'd go Pollard just for the volume. I mean, just for the volume, I just feel like he's going to get more volume than Jacobs. But Jacobs' volume could be hey, here's 2 goal line carries. I don't know. It's hard, man. That's hard. All right, let's dive into this thing. Enough fantasy talk. Let's start with the Packers offense real quick. We'll ride through this pretty quickly. We know this offense. On the O-line, we have Walker, Banks, Ryan, Belton, Morgan. Walker, been solid. Going to end up as a left tackle some other team next year. Hopefully they pay him a ton of money, the Dan Moore contract money, and we get a third-round comp pick for 2027. That's the hope. Aaron Banks at left guard. Pretty solid run blocker. Our interior as a whole has been run blocking a lot better. As Banks, Ryan, and Belton, it's been a much better trio than Elton Jenkins at center and Sean Ryan at right guard. It's a lot better in the run game. Now, the pass protection, Belton has to be better. Kind of gets beat on inside moves a decent bit. Sean Ryan has been better at center than Elton Jenkins, plain and simple. Aaron Banks hasn't really played up to his contract, but he's getting better. And then Jordan Morgan at right tackle. He started there last week. A very inconsistent game, I would say. You know, you see a couple good things, and then right before overtime, just absolutely blown up. And you're looking at his footwork, and you're like, what is he doing? Like Montez Sweat just threw him to the ground and then sacked Willis and hurt his shoulder. First off, the Packers shouldn't even been in that situation. I think they should have needed it in overtime, but whatever. Morgan at right tackle. We'll see if they continue with that, or they go with completely. Is it Dillard? Right? I'm completely drawing a blank. At right tackle. Coach Len says we need Sean Ryan back in Green Bay. Yeah, I'm kind of like on the fence. I liked what he's brought at center, but I still think we should just go out and get a real center. That's my opinion. Now, if you want to bring Ryan back and it's cheap and he's a good depth option that can play center, can play guard, but I don't want to like bring back Ryan for $8+ million and be like, yeah, that's going to be one of our starting linemen next year, no matter what. I don't like that. But if you need to and you need the depth, it's not a bad option. Daddy Logs, appreciate the donation. Why would we get a comp pick if Walker gets paid? Because that's just how the free agency works. As long as you don't go and sign a big contract as well, that would net and cancel that out. If a player leaves your team in free agency, there's a whole graph that you can look at that kind of shows, hey, if they get paid up to this amount, you get a higher draft pick, yada, yada, yada. So that's just kind of how free agency works. You get compensatory selections when players leave in free agency and sign with other teams. So long, say if Walker left and let's just say he gets paid $20 million a year and we went and signed a corner for $20 million a year, that would cancel it out. Like we wouldn't, unrestricted free agent, should I say. It would have to be unrestricted. That would cancel it out. But hopefully the Packers wouldn't do that. But if they do, it'd be hopefully worth it. We should have kept Myers for cheap and didn't. So yeah, I mean, I was okay with moving on from him, but obviously hindsight's 2020. All right, so at Love at quarterback, he's the fourth highest graded quarterback, 88.5. Jacobs, third highest graded running back at 87.4. Musgrave at tight end, been making plays as of late. Like he's starting to make some plays. You like to see it. 57.9. He's got like 30 or so receiving yards the past few games. You love to see it. Watson's the 13th highest rated receiver at 83.0. Going to need a big game out of him. Honestly, last week, if we saw that one corner route, Willis threw to Musgrave, he had Watson wide open deep for a touchdown. We ended that drive with 0 points. Man, I wish he hit Watson deep. And Packers probably win that game because he was wide open. So, if it is Willis, got to know that his guy, Christian Watson, going to be open deep against the Ravens. Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed. Still need a little bit more out of Reed. Doubs was playing really, really well on offense. Obviously, the dropped onside kick highlights his game. But Doubs, was a focal point of our offense last week and was our leading receiver by a far margin. So I want him on the field. I don't agree with him in the spot that he's at for onside kicks. I know Rich Bisaccia says otherwise, and he has the best hands he's ever seen. And I don't agree with that. I think Doubs has okay hands, and at times, but he's inconsistent hands, clearly. He's been consistently a top 3 in drops on our team. So, I don't know. I would say, personally, the best hands on the team, Watson or honestly Golden, just based off of what I've seen and what I know. I know Golden hasn't gotten much opportunity, but he has very, very good hands. Same with Watson. I would say that players with drop issues, especially last year, we have Dobbs, Wicks, Reed. It's like, do you really want that guy at onside kick return? Also, something that's not being talked about enough is, and I'm not a special teams guy. I don't claim that I am and know all about it, but when you look at the blocking on that onside kick return, the three players that are in front of Dobbs ready to block for him, Javon Bullard, Bo Melton, and Xavier McKinney. That doesn't scream protection to me. I mean, Bullard's hard-nosed defensive back. Yeah, maybe he'll put a lick on someone, but Melton, a receiver, he is a good run blocker. Then X, it's like, why wouldn't we have a couple linebackers out there, like a Hopper or a McDuffie, bigger-bodied players? I know they're not as quick, but you're standing so close to the rushers. I don't know. It didn't sit well with me that those were our three guys, and when you watch the clip, like, no one gets a block on anyone. They're just right there in Dobbs' face. So that probably affected his concentration to catch that ball as well. I don't know. I didn't like it. For the Ravens defense, we have Aloha Gilman at safety. Really nice free agency signing for them from the Chargers this offseason. He was a player that I thought the Packers maybe could look at, or is it 2 years ago they signed him? I forget, it was last year or 2 years ago. But nice safety there. Kyle Hamilton is the highest graded safety in the NFL. He's our best player on defense by far. Hamilton, awesome player. 88.1. Have you watched Dobbs this year? He's been dropping balls all year. Don't be silly. Exactly. That's why I'm like, Bisaccia, what are you talking about? Like, he's the best hands you've ever coached? That's crazy. Does Dobbs have times where you see the strong hands? Yes. But he's an inconsistent catcher. So that would not be the best hands you've seen all time. Like, Bisaccia, I don't want to talk about it. It's so bad. I'm done with him at special teams. It's terrible. And hopefully they move on and they promote Hafley to that assistant head coach title that Bisaccia for some reason has right now. At linebacker, they have Trenton Simpson. Dude, something about Trenton Simpson. I used to use him in Madden, like last year or the year before. He's like an 89 or 90 speed linebacker. And if you get him upgraded, like his dev trait, man, you can make him like a 94 speed linebacker. It's ridiculous. I had like defensive player of the year with this guy one league. Trenton Simpson was my guy. Drafted him like every draft in Madden. But really good against the run, 83.9. Pretty in coverage, but overall solid linebacker. Of course, they have Roquan Smith. Coverage, really good, top 10. Run defense, pretty solid. 18th overall, good linebacker. They have good linebacker play in Baltimore. On the defensive line, they have Dramont Jones, 61.0. Kyle Van Noy, 62.2. Van Noy is always a solid player. On the inside, they have Brent Urban. They have John Jenkins and Travis Jones. I think Travis Jones has been really solid for them. Didn't they just give him an extension? I don't know much about the Ravens defensive line, to be honest with you guys, but I think they did just give Travis Jones an extension. He's been a very solid play for them. Fourth in run defense in the NFL this year, 78.0. 6'4", 338. That prototypical, they're running a 3-4, but, you could definitely play some nose on a 4-3 defense. But defensive line pretty solid. This defense overall is just inconsistent. They're 28th against the pass, 13th against the run. They're pretty good in the red zone, which is a little bit of a worry for me. They're sixth best defense in the red zone, and the Packers, we know their struggles in the red zone last couple weeks. So that does worry me. But they haven't been too solid at corner. Marlon Humphrey having a pretty down year. You can see the coverage grade, 40.3, 108 out of 110 corners. On the other side, Nate Wiggins, a player a lot of Packers fans wanted them to draft. 64.1. Again, I think their defense has just been overall really inconsistent and poorly coached. Was it Zach Orr as their coordinator? He's used to be like a. Am I thinking of the right guy? I forget if Zach Orr or if I'm thinking of Chris Orr. One of them used to be a linebacker for the Badgers, but I forget which one that is. And I think one of them used to actually be on the Ravens. I don't know, but I think there was one of the Orrs that was in contention to become our defensive coordinator before Hafley, but I forget. I think it's the one that's currently coaching defense at Baltimore. So I think we ended up with the better coach there. Hamilton drops into the nickel, and they do have Malachi Starks out of Georgia, who I guess is playing significant snaps. 227 in the box, free safety fight. Yeah, so he's pretty much starting at safety when they run a lot of nickel, and Hamilton kind of drops around the nickel spot, floats in the box. It's good to see for their defense, but got to keep eyes on Kyle Hamilton, where he's at all times, and try to get away from him a little bit. How's Mike Green doing on the Ravens? I think he's just a rotational edge guy for now, so I'm not really sure. All right, let's flip this thing. Packers defense, go over this real quick. At safeties, McKinney and Bullard. Hopefully Evan Williams is going to be able to return, but I did like what I saw from Bullard at safety last week. I thought it was one of his better games as a Green Bay Packer. At corners, got to have better play. They've been, for lack of better words, dog shit for the last couple of weeks with Nixon and Valentine. 67.2 for Valentine on the year. Nixon 66.8. Nixon's had a rough couple weeks after the interception on Williams to end that game. It's been a rough couple weeks for him. Same with Valentine. It's been a rough couple weeks. These guys got to play better, and then we need more pass rush out of this defensive line. We said it once Parsons was injured. Didn't get much last week. Didn't get a sack last week. Got some pressure here and there. Gary, I think, ended up with 5. Brooks had a pretty terrible game against the Bears. He needs to be better. He, stepping up into the snap share that left when Wyatt got hurt. Colby won at nose tackle. Can't be too hard on him. Filled a role that we really didn't have on the team, and I think he's done solid. I know his grade doesn't show too well at 50.6, but I think he's been, given the context, pretty solid at nose tackle. Inigbare, 62.4. Obviously, we're going to see more Brenton Cox Jr., Baron Sorrell. I would think we probably won't see Colin Oliver. He might be inactive on game day because you can only keep 46 active. Gary, need to see a sack or a tackle out of you, buddy. Like, it's been, 6 weeks straight without a sack or tackle? That's crazy. You're paid like $24 million a year or something like that. Come on, man. Step it up. At linebacker, Edgerrin Cooper, Quay Walker, Isaiah McDuffie. I would assume the Packers to play a lot of base in this game. I think the Ravens are going to run a lot, and I think the Packers run a lot of base with Bullard at safety, just like how it looks like on here. Unless Evan Williams is back, then Evan will be there. But Cooper, Walker, McDuffie, just try to stop this run. Cooper hasn't had the year that we expected here in year 2. You could see last year much better grade and kind of more explosives, but I still think Hafley isn't using him enough rushing the passer, and he should. Walker, pretty, bang on with what he usually does. A little bit lower grade, actually, since his, the last 2 years. I don't know. I'm torn on Walker, man. It's like you see the flashes, but we're also in year 4. Do the Packers, should they extend him or move on? I don't know. It depends on the money. It really does depend on the money. If it's anything like top 7 linebacker money, I'm out. But because he's not worth that in my opinion. But if you can get him for a manageable contract, I'm for it. I think you could bring him back for like a 2 to 3 year extension. And hopefully, hit that next level. Because I know Quay Walker's a player that has a ton of talent. And for some reason, I feel like if we don't bring him back, he's going to go to another team. And he's just going to be a sicko. And I could see that. And it sucks. But Isaiah McDuffie has been very solid for us given what we saw from the last 3-4 years. Big uptick in production. He's had his issues. But I agree he is underrated, Kamikaze. Justice says on the chat. I agree. I do agree. McDuffie's been pretty solid this year. All right, for the Ravens offense, here we see their O-line, a little bit of inconsistency here in grades. They have Ronnie Stanley at left tackle, very solid left tackle. They have Andrew Voorhees at left guard, 58.2. Tyler Linderbaum at center, 79.4. Daniel Falele, which I've seen some tape breakdowns of him at right guard, and supposedly he's like one of the worst right guards in the NFL in terms of like what is he doing out there? A lot of people question, especially Ravens fans, like why is he at right guard? I mean, 6'8", 380. That's crazy, first off, for a right guard. And I don't think he's played well at all. Rosengarten at right tackle, 72.2. Mark Andrews at tight end. I don't know why. I like Mark Andrews, but why in the world did the Ravens just give him that contract? I mean, he's pretty old, right? Like he's 30-something. He's 30, 30 on the dot. So, okay. I don't know. I that contract to me was crazy. Eric Wilson is balling after leaving us. Of course he is. I know. I saw that last night. But he helped the Packers secure a playoff spot, so that's fine. At receiver, they have Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers in the slot, which, again, don't know how he got a Pro Bowl, if I'm being honest, and DeAndre Hopkins at the right side receiver. Gosh, he's played a lot of football, huh? 83.2. We talked about Hundley. Derrick Henry at running back, 72.7. Going to be very important to try to shut down the run. That's what they want to do. We have to stop Derrick Henry. Plain and simple, stop Derrick Henry, and I think we do fine in this game. I think the Packers win this game pretty easily. I think Love returns from concussion protocol. I think Evan Williams returns. I think Zach Tom sits. But I think the Packers are going to find success. They're going to do better in the red zone. It's in Green Bay. It's at home. Ravens won't have Lamar. They're a mess. The Ravens team is imploding. I could see a really bad game from Baltimore, and it's like essentially the nail in the coffin for Harbaugh. Like I could really see that. So I could see the Packers handling business pretty handily this year, or this game's, excuse me. And then we look for Sunday night to see what happens with 49ers Bears. And if we get a 49ers win, which is definitely on the table, they're playing for the 1 seed, right? Then it comes down to week 18. Bears Lions, Packers Vikings. Let's see. A lot of Bears fans are already in their mind going, we won the North. Caleb's the king of the North. You still got to win 2 games. At least one. You still got to win 1 game. And then we'll see. It's not over till it's over. There's a chance. I think the Packers, have the much easier schedule, even though Vikings defense is playing on fire. But 49ers, very good team. Lions, depending what team you get, a lot of players still fighting for their jobs. And Dan Campbell fighting for his ego, right? Like, the Lions aren't going to give up week 18. Like a lot of people are saying, like, oh, they're a dumpster fire. They're going to give up. No, they're not. They're not coached that way. They're playing some bad football as of late, but they're not going to give up week 18 just because they're eliminated. They're not even going to give up the week 18. They already played week 17. They're not going to give up. They're not. So that's the game preview. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. I'm going to get out of here in a second and go record the injury video, break it all down. I know it's a day late. Packers had to release an injury report on Christmas, of course, right? That's that's just how they do it. So be on the lookout for the injury video. I'll break down all the reports for both teams and kind of dive down into it. No live stream tomorrow, unfortunately. When they flexed it from Sunday to Saturday, I'd already plans with some family for Christmas on Saturday, so not gonna be able to stream this Ravens game, but I'll be back for the Vikings game week 18. But hopefully you guys enjoy the end of this Christmas holiday season weekend, and hopefully we get a win and still keep that NFC North title alive. But really appreciate you guys for stopping by. Again, remember to go check out Sleeper if you want to make your picks for this upcoming game. Again, I'll release a video for the injury report here in the next couple hour or so. So, yep, I'll see you guys probably Sunday. I'll do the video reacting to the game, breaking it down, and then we'll do PFF probably on Monday. And then we have the Vikings game on Sunday, back to kind of regular scheduling next week. We have a Sunday game, but it's also, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day next week, so we'll see what happens. I think it'll be Jordan Love, Zach. I think it'll be Jordan Love tomorrow. But appreciate you guys for stopping by. I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, go Pack Go.